Hi people, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 18th of June 2021. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery, and I haven't seen this deck in ages. It's one of the benefits of moving, that some of the decks that were hidden under stacks of other decks have kind of reappeared. If I remember correctly, I think I got in touch with the author himself to order these cards. Could be what happened. But this is a really interesting deck. I really like the images. Let me show you some of them. Very bold. And I like bright colors, so this is a good deck for me. So let's see what the cards have to say about Friday and what's going on. Right, so first card is, what is this? 2, 4, 6, 7. The Seven of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. All right, so we've got 3 minor arcana cards, and the minor arcana refers to temporary circumstances, influences which are kind of here today, gone tomorrow. And it makes this day very particular. So first of all, the Seven of Swords is usually a card that has to do with being focused on the self and operating from a place of lack, and then taking actions that are based on that feeling of, I don't have enough, I'm hard done by, people treat me badly, so I'm allowed to treat them badly back, that kind of stuff. Here we've got a fox with a pentacle here. So the fox traditionally is associated with cunning and also, I suppose, theft. Isn't the fox the animal that kind of gets the chickens out of the coop and people try and prevent that from happening? So the fox is really about self-will, and it's about taking action which isn't always seen as above board, and self-interest and all of those things. And it has to do with really being conniving and underhanded and acting, under the cover of dark, and it's all cloak and dagger, that kind of stuff. Then we also have this dove, the dove of peace, which represents spirituality, and that's kind of being chased away here. And what he's grabbing is a pentacle with an image of the actual dove. So he's more interested in what he can get for himself rather than the actual idea behind it. So he is focused on the product, the outcome, not the journey. He's interested in what he can get, how it's going to benefit him now, and it's kind of short-sighted. It's kind of, I mean, it's no great insight, but if you go around stealing other people's chickens, they're going to put up bigger fences to keep you out. So you're not making friends by only being interested in what you can get and kind of ignoring what other people are going through. The better way forward is to find something that's sustainable, where you don't make enemies. So the Seven of Swords really is a warning that says, if you come at a situation and you're only interested in what you can get out and out of it, and if you use other people, and if you see them as kind of things that can be manipulated for your own good, then you're not going to feel particularly included in future, nor is it something where you're behaving in a way that is aligned with who you really are. Because each one of us has a gift, a talent that we can use to kind of not only get by on planet Earth, but we can thrive and we can really live wonderful lives. But if you don't see that in yourself, and then you take actions which are kind of beneath you, then you're going to create circumstances also which are problematic, and you get further and further away from yourself. And there's a disconnect between the way you see yourself and then the actions you've taken on planet Earth. And often you can feel bad about that. If you're fundamentally a kind and loving person, but you're working in a business where you're, flogging products which are really harmful to other people, then if you have a conscience, you're going to be up in bed at night thinking, oh my God, why am I doing this to other people? I'm harming them, and it's really not aligned with who I am. Yes, I need to pay the bills, but most people will say, but really that doesn't excuse the behavior. I need to find something different. So the swords are ideas and the way you think. the sharp ends are very exposed here in this card. So the thinking can really have a negative impact on your circumstances, and you can kind of pierce through and break things and poke holes in things that are hard to mend. And we've got different colors here. So this is like the chakra system. So a negative thought can apply to your physical circumstances, your money, your security, your belongings. It can be a faulty thought when it comes to how you feel like you're in control of your life. I need an addiction to survive. Then the yellow is the solar plexus, the heart, and the throat chakra, and on and on. So each one, the solar plexus really rules your energy. So it's, if I want to be happy, then I need to do something that guarantees my happiness. If I want to be in love, then I have to kind of put filters on my Instagram so that people think I'm gorgeous, and that I can catfish people if I'm going to attract someone. The blue one, it's like I have to pretend to be something I'm not and speak all these beautiful words, but behind the scenes, I really don't believe them. It's really inauthenticity and manipulation when it comes to the way you present yourself and the way you think you're going to get something out of life. It's when you fall into that trap of I am pretending, I am doing something for the sake of me, you know you've gone wrong on this day. The next card, the Six of Pentacles, is a card that's about balance and opportunity. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And that's just the way the world works. And if you align yourself with that, you can kind of reinvent yourself endlessly. And we've got this baby here, or little kid, whatever. And if you look at what's happened in the past, and you say, I have freedom in my circumstances. The past doesn't need to be repeated again. I don't need to tell myself lies to get by and to repeat things that have either worked or failed in the past just to get by. And that's really the message I'm getting, that there's this sense of life is tough and I have to take certain actions, which I don't always like, just to make a life for myself. And that's really the key thing to avoid, because you can be yourself and you can really enjoy your work and your everyday experience. You don't have to pretend to be anything that you're not. And I think that's the big warning. Don't pretend. Try not to be fake. Be as authentic as you possibly can. And again, society doesn't tell us that. You know, society says, put your best foot forward, lie on your resume, kind of tell some white lies if you want to get your foot in the door. And the cards are saying the opposite. They're saying that you don't need to stoop down to that level. You're good enough just as you are. So by realizing that and getting true, or getting back to basics in terms of who you are and kind of rediscovering the person you were before all the manipulations. And by the way, I'm not preaching here. We've all done this. I mean, we've all gone into lack mentality and thought, okay, well, I need to do one of these things to get by. So it's not like this is something that's particularly optional or some huge moral failing. We're all trained to do it. We've all done it. But the key is to realize it and to say, I am skilled and talented and good enough, and I can thrive before I learned any of these things, before I was brainwashed or before I was coached into behaving a certain way. And if I get back to the real self, then I can really start fresh. I can seize a new opportunity and I can thrive on planet Earth simply by being me. And finally, the Nine of Wands is a card that shows the worst is behind you. Usually it's a man with a bandage on his head, and he's kind of fought his way through some sort of an obstacle. Here we've got a raven, a bird that's kind of a representative, a symbol of the occult and spiritual knowledge. And he's kind of gliding above these ones which are on fire, but he's not being burned. So he's got magical powers, and you have magical powers in the sense that you have really spiritual gifts that you can apply to the world, even though they may seem unlikely or no one understands them. You have that gift for a reason. So ask yourself, what is it that I do? What part of my life sees me in the role of the expert, where I really know what I'm doing and I enjoy doing this? I don't get paid for it. I do it simply because I feel it's something that speaks to my soul, or it gives me a sense of fulfillment or joy or pleasure. And how can I return to that place using my spiritual gifts without all the facades and all the nonsense that I've been coached and that I've chosen to believe I need? And how do I translate that into some sort of practical format that I can use on a day-to-day basis to really build a genuine life for myself where I don't have to look over my shoulder and feel like I'm being watched and I'm going to be found out? And you've come a long way. That's what the Nine of Wands is saying. You know what your life purpose is. You've got several things like this in your life that you already enjoy, but that you don't take seriously. And if you just pick one of them, you're able to fly with it as such, and you're able to land in some sort of tangible way and translate it into practical action, which is going to enrich your everyday experience. And what I also notice is that these two birds are very, very different in appearance. This one looks really gentle and soft and serene, and this one seems more like a villain, or again, it's associated with cunning sometimes. Isn't it magpies who kind of steal shiny objects? And they're often kind of associated again with self-will and taking things that aren't yours. So with both of these, if you notice yourself saying, I can get away with this and I deserve this for myself, I'm going to pluck this, I'm going to take it for myself, then you're operating on this ego, faulty thinking kind of level. If you're saying, okay, there are different parts of me, there are good and pure parts, and there are aspects of myself that are less than pure, which again is perfectly reasonable, we're all like that. How am I going to bring the two together? And instead of being cunning about how to take from others or to get something out of a situation or a circumstance, how can I be clever in my thinking and find some sort of way to use my gifts in the real world independently? And that's really where the kind of cunning, planning, and getting an advantage out of something for yourself, that's where you can use that most effectively and really do him a favor by putting him in a situation where he can really take care of himself. I.e., you put yourself in a situation where you not only take care of yourself, but you enjoy the journey, you enjoy the process, and the outcome is just incidental. It's not the main reason why you're doing this thing. And that's why it's a good idea to look at what you're already doing, because you don't get a paycheck from that. You don't get social standing. You don't get anything that really benefits you in a practical sense, but it just gives you a feeling of being alive and tapped in and connected, and it gives you a sense of pleasure. And when you work with something like that and find a real outlet for it in the real world, then you really thrive, and then you're really flying, because then it's not work anymore. It's, as they say in that, it's that cliche about if you find something that you love to do, you'll never work another day in your life. And you have the opportunity to really discover that within yourself. And that's why this cunning, kind of self-interested energy is really something that you can use to your advantage if you look at the bigger picture rather than the short-term outcome. Number-wise, we've got 7, and 6 is 13, and 9 is 22. 22 is the master number of the builder. And by following this kind of process, you're really able to build something concrete and useful and permanent for yourself. So you can kind of discover a purpose that's going to be in place for the rest of your life if you really strip yourself down to the basics, to who you truly are, and you manage to get honest with yourself, and then you use your cunning intellect to kind of see how you can apply that in some sort of practical way. You're really going to be able to build something fabulous. It could be a new business, it could be a new way of working, it could be the idea that you're going to change jobs, it could be redesigning yourself, so reinventing yourself as a person to be more aligned with your true nature rather than this persona you've adopted. And it can also be looking at your physical health and your daily structure and saying, what would be more aligned with me? You know, like, I want to live a healthy life, but I'm smoking 50 cigarettes a day. maybe I can find a way, if I think about it, to actually manage that addiction and to free myself of it. So whether it's reading Alan Carr's Stop Smoking book or trying Nicorette or, whatever works for you, because no one's going to tell you, and that's just an example, by the way, but no one's going to tell you how to stop that addiction. There are lots of different ways, and some work for some people and others don't. So think about what seems most aligned with your true self, and then you can do something about it. Something, 22, that is really solid and that's going to serve you for a long time in the future. So have a wonderful day. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe and share the video online. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.